Unscripted, unfiltered, unafraid. Welcome to the Macworld podcast. I'm Michael Simon, and I'm joined as always by Jason Cross.
Good morning.
And our producer, Roman Loyola.
Ahoy there.
This is episode number 958. And on today's show, we're going to talk about Apple Intelligence and AI because there's just a lot to talk about. Most of it is just like what is going on? What is Apple doing? We'll talk about ChatGPT, Gemini, Siri, whatever, like all that stuff, because I'm sure you guys also want to know, like what is going on with Apple Intelligence? It's on our phones. It hasn't changed much. There's still features that we're waiting for from last year. So all that stuff we'll dive into. And later on, we'll talk about what's our what's on Apple TV or what we're watching on Apple TV segment this week in Apple history, and we will close with our reader mailbag. Speaking of that, you can contact us through Facebook, Blue Sky, or Threads. Search for Macworld and look for the blue mouse logo. Guess what? We have a dedicated podcast email now. It is podcast, singular, at Macworld, right? RomanMacworld.com. Not the other one.
Yeah,
podcast
you're correct.
Podcast. All right, so now no one's gonna know it. Let me start over. We have a dedicated podcast email. Podcast at Macworld.com. You send something to that, we'll get it. It'll go to all of us actually. So no more remembering individual emails, but you can send us individual emails if you want. If you have any comments about AI, do you use it? Do you use Apple Intelligence? That's the question I have, because all right, I'll save all that for the show. And
like I said,
like we've said, we will collect all those comments, read them over the next couple coming weeks. All right, Roman, set our pre-show banter 3-minute timer, because we don't want to go over. And hey, baseball season's over, so we won't talk about baseball anymore after I guess this couple of seconds
until next summer.
Till next summer, we got like 6 months. Congratulations to the LA Dodgers. I wasn't happy. I know Roman wasn't happy. The Blue Jays should have won, but these things happen. And congratulations to my son, who also won his league championship on the same day.
Oh,
so it was a nice thing, and he was named MVP. If I could plug my son's baseball abilities, it was a proud day in the Simon household.
I'm very much enjoying how you started off by saying there will be no more baseball talk, and proceeded to fill all the air in the room with more baseball talk.
Listen, I got 6 months of nothing, so I gotta get all of it that I can get in now. All right, so let's switch to Halloween. Did you guys do anything? Do you, Roman? Do you go trick or treating?
Sorry,
no, I don't go trick or treating. My sister-in-law kind of has a party, so to speak, where people come in and out of her house. In San Francisco, what people do is they block off streets.
Oh yeah,
and then people, go, like nobody goes to my house. Because in San Francisco, people block off streets and people go to those. I don't know if you want to call it.
You're talking about trick or treat, like kids trick or treating.
Yes. Families go to streets that are blocked off. They don't necessarily go to their own neighborhoods, and it ends up being like one giant kind of block party. And my sister-in-law lives near one, so we go to her house, and I gave out candy and stuff like that. So,
well, that's neat. Jason, do you do that where you live too?
No, this is like total suburbs and stuff, and our neighborhood's usually very good for trick or treating because it's very walkable. It's not there's no through traffic. You can't go through our neighborhood to like get to the highway the quick way or anything like that.
Right.
So it's usually a lot. We usually get over 100 trick or treaters, and this year it was like a quarter of what it usually is. It was so few. It was crazy. But also, we didn't do as much as we normally do. We usually put up a screen in a front window and project from behind it, either a Halloween movie or like one of those things where like zombies are trying to get through or something like that.
Yeah.
Put a little.
We have that too. Yeah.
Put a little Beats Pill speaker out there and just for sound and all. We didn't get the chance to do all that because we were doing like a bunch of yard work and fence repair stuff. And my wife had her big gem show thing. We were just like slammed all the way up before. So we were, our friend had a big Halloween party at her house. She's like 3 houses down.
Right.
And so we dipped in there after we gave candy to kids and stuff, but it was like way too much and we were wiped out and we were just like, all right, we showed our faces. We've said hi. You guys are way like, you are going to be so hungover tomorrow. Everybody was like way turned up, dialed way up. So we didn't stay there very long. But yeah, it's usually Halloween's great. Usually we do a lot of decorating. We have a built-in bookshelf right by our front door. Like it's like attached to the wall and stuff. And it's got all these, we put different stuff there at different times of the year, like Christmas stuff at Christmas. So Halloween, a few years ago, my wife made all these like apothecary bottles, like witch's brew stuff. It's got like colored liquids with floating eyeballs in them and funky labels and stuff. And we put it all up there with some like little lights behind it and all. And it's like a cool thing when people come to the door. We didn't have time to dig that out this year. We didn't do so. Like it was just such a low key year, and we have so much leftover candy.
Really, we got like we usually get like 100. We got about the same, but we also didn't decorate because we didn't like have a free weekend to do it. And like people were like, "Are you guys okay?" Like, yeah, we're fine. Like we just were tired.
Yeah, that was us.
It's a lot. It's a lot to decorate all those plugs and. You're staking stuff into the ground. It's effort.
And it's great when Halloween is on a Friday, but it's also the worst in terms of getting your house ready because like it's too early the weekend before. And then you're swamped for 5 days leading up to it. Just living your life. So this was a low key Halloween. Usually we do it up pretty good and we get a bunch of kids and there wasn't that many.
The kids in my neighborhood are getting older. Like my son was 14. He went trick-or-treating with a bunch of his buddies. But like it's getting to the point where like all the little kids are now aging out of Halloween. And so I guess it's going to like trend down.
You don't have replacements?
15 years. Not really, a couple of little ones, but not like the big crop. Like we moved here, I don't know, 10 years ago, maybe 8 years ago. And Gabe was 7. And there was like a bunch of like kids his age and they have all kind of moved on now. And there's a couple like little kids, but not nearly as many. And, COVID and the economy and everything else, like so much has happened since then to change like demographics and, population and births and all that stuff.
So we have a number of like little kids, like and kids in strollers and stuff in our neighborhood. So there'll be a new crop, and of course, they're always selling houses here. Somebody's always got a house for sale in our neighborhood. Yeah. So we'll see what next year looks like. But this year was just kind of a weird off year, I think, for everybody.
Roman says, "Time's up here."
Time's up.
So Halloween talk is over. All right, AI.
Next year, AI will make my Halloween decoration.
So this time last year, maybe not. Maybe it was earlier than that. So this time last year, iOS 18 was like promising Apple Intelligence with ads, and iPhones were built for Apple Intelligence, and it didn't really wow us at all. At least not from the start. Things got delayed. iOS 18.2 was like the ChatGPT integration and kind of brought a little more attention to it. And really since then, it's been nothing. Like iOS 26 didn't really bring anything all that new to Apple Intelligence. Is that your feelings on it, Jason?
Yeah, it was obviously there was not last WWDC, but the one before.
Right.
Last year's WWDC, that's when they announced all this Siri stuff where they announced they announced Apple Intelligence coming in iOS 18.
Yeah.
And it was going to have all these things, visual intelligence. It's not just Siri. It's visual intelligence and it's writing tools and it's this image playground and all this other stuff.
Mixmoji and Genmoji rather than that.
Right. Genmoji. And then there's some the cleanup tools in photos and stuff, which and these things mostly trickled out over a lot of them were like coming with iOS 18 or in a later update.
Right.
And then the big thing that people cared most about, like a new Siri that could understand what's on your screen and understand personal context and take actions within apps. They could not get it over the finish line. They went back to the drawing board and said, all right, that needs to be a part of this new LLM Siri that we're building, like a whole new Siri architecture. We can't staple together old Siri, new Siri, and make it work.
And so what we were promised from the beginning with this so-called new Siri, it was three things.
Three major
There was on-screen awareness, so the contextual awareness stuff.
Yeah.
Where it can see what's on your screen, like you're looking at an email. We saw those commercials where it like goes through your emails and knows dates and history and stuff and can like tell you stuff. It can work with an app. So if you're in an app and you ask it to do something, it knows what you're doing and can use rather than just like a surface level stuff. It'll dig deep into an app and be able to access actions and things like that within that app.
Yeah, there's a system Apple has called App Intents, which exists, but it's not super deep. But that's what lets you say, play this song on Spotify, and then Spotify has like a song playback app intent, and it knows to hook. This would be a huge expansion of that, broadly, and all the developer tools. And I mentioned that because when this finally comes, it also means apps need to be updated to hook into all this. But ultimately, what that will mean is you'll be able to be looking at a picture you just took in your Photos app and say, crop this to show just my face and post it to my Instagram. And it will understand what you're looking at. It will understand what crop to just show your face means. And it will be able to actually post it to within Instagram without you having to open Instagram and do all the things. It won't have to do all that. That kind of thing broadly across the whole OS and all the apps that get updated, that could be very powerful. That was what we were promised.
And so that's what was supposed to come in iOS 18, then iOS 18.1, then 2, then 3, then 4, and then it was just delayed till later in the year, they said at the time, which we assumed was iOS 26. What wasn't included in that is like a new Siri in the sense that it's smarter and it knows more things and it can answer questions like ChatGPT can. So what Apple was trying to do, if I understand it correctly, was kind of build this new stuff on top of the old stuff. And it just didn't work from what has been reported.
Right. Siri, as we use it today, still is not built on the foundations of a large language model. It's built on the foundations of older AI technology that basically takes what you say, turns it into text, looks for keywords, and then performs a set of actions or replies, or just grabs from a internet knowledge graph it has about how old actors are and stuff like that, like when you ask simple questions. And it's far from Gemini or ChatGPT or any of these.
Can you briefly explain what a large language model is for people like me who don't really understand it?
So hard to
45 seconds you have. Go.
Oh, boy. A large language model is basically they take all the text they can get from the entire internet.
Okay. Yeah.
Like all the text in the world that they can get to train their model. And it's broken down into tokens. You can think of tokens as pieces of words, right?
Okay.
It can be a couple of letters together, commonly held together letters or whatever. And all it does is it creates a big multidimensional graph of the relationships between all of these tokens of letters, these combinations of pieces of words, these letters, so that whatever question you ask or whatever you say to it, it can string together what is the most likely next sequence of these tokens.
Okay.
So it is literally a word prediction machine.
So
it doesn't think, it doesn't know what it's doing.
Okay.
It's just absorbing all of the. It's just creating a big. It's even hard to explain because it's not a 2D graph or 3D graph. It's like these are like 14 dimension graphs of like where you project a vector to see what the next token is supposed to be. But that's why they could never understand how many R's are in the word strawberry.
Right.
Because they're not counting letters. They're chunks of words and they can only look at them individual and stuff like that.
So it still needs to be programmed. It's not. So when we think of artificial intelligence, like sci-fi artificial intelligence, it's some kind of a being that learns and is able to understand what's happening in the world, and it gets smarter. This whatever large language model is in, let's say Gemini, right? It's whatever Google told it to do up until the point that it was released.
So yeah, it's nobody's really programming it because you couldn't, because it's too big. But it's all of the data that they took, and then there's a very complicated and like this is why they pay these people a gajillion dollars. There's code that trains the model that takes all of that data and crunches it a million ways to look at how the relationships between tokens and stuff like that, and what people are asking for when they say certain things and all this stuff. But how it thinks, how it works, there's no algorithm you can follow to like understand it. You can't debug the model. The most they can do is retrain it, and they adjust the weights of all the different parameters and stuff like that.
That's why
like billions and billions of parameters and stuff. So
like if you ask Gemini something and ChatGPT something, you can get very different answers.
Right.
And that's why it's what the sources that it's pulling from. And that's sources might be the wrong word there.
Right. It's not really sources. It's just like a big. It took all this data and it created a graph of what are the relationships between tokens. Like if I say, it's going to be really the concise way YouTube videos to explain this are like a half hour long. So it's like really, it's kind of difficult. Yeah. I much better sending somebody to some YouTube video that explains where you say what is a large language model or something.
All right, we'll put
they're going to have graphics and stuff that will help you understand it. It's really hard to conceptually.
All right, if you want to know more, so we don't take another 45 minutes on this, we'll put a link in the show notes, and you can.
But it's basically a large language model is a black box of the relationships between words that let them understand text and predict what text they should stick back at you. And that text can be turned into speech and stuff like that. But that's at the end, it's this big black box of like complicated relationships between pieces of words.
And when it works, it's like you're talking to the smartest person in the world.
Feels like
you can ask it anything and it'll say, oh yeah, this happened 35 years ago and this happened 15 years ago. And we're going to logically draw this conclusion based on that information. Now, we don't know what the Siri version of that is going to look like because, it's not out yet for one, but I'm really curious to see, because these things are prone to, they call them hallucinations, but they're just straight wrong sometimes. Right. And if you're trusting of them, you're going to get wrong information, confidently wrong information usually.
Right. Because the model isn't, like I said, it's not thinking, it's not following an algorithm.
Right.
Its relationships between words and pieces of words have caused it to give you the next strings of characters that dumped out a piece of information to you.
Right.
And there is no difference to the model between that being correct or incorrect. They don't know. And they're not looking it up real time. There are some newer things where thinking models where they just basically check their own work by looking up things online, and it's complicated, and all this stuff gets more complicated real quick. But yeah, so the rumor we had heard about what they internally call Siri LLM, the new Siri, is that they were trying to build these new features on it. They couldn't combine that with the old Siri that just understood how to set a timer and all that other stuff. So they're scrapping it all and they're building all the Siri functions you use, set a timer, set an alarm, call mom, all that stuff on this new Siri LLM. And they were building one internally, but they were also working together with like Anthropic and Google and Meta and all these guys to say, well, build a custom bespoke version of your LLM for us that we can run on our servers and maybe a tiny model that can fit and run on our phones for offline stuff and all that other stuff, and then have a bake-off and see, well, which one works, which one's good, which one's uses less resources, all the things. And the latest rumors from Mark Gurman's Power On newsletter is that the new Siri that we're supposed to get now this spring is going to be fundamentally based on Gemini. Or he said leans on Gemini, so maybe it's kind of, maybe it uses Gemini for like web-based broad knowledge stuff, and then it's using Apple's LLM.
Is that different than the ChatGPT integration that it has now?
Yes. Yeah. So the ChatGPT integration it's not Siri at all.
Right.
Siri just like you ask Siri something, and if Siri can't get the answer, it'll go, hey, do you want me just to go kick this off the ChatGPT and ask it? And that's absolutely no different than just loading up ChatGPT and asking it the question, right? Except it's better privacy, because when Siri does it, it sends much less information. Mm-hmm. It sends very little information, and
Plus, it's right on. You don't have to open the app. It's like right on your phone. Yeah. It's like right.
And their deal with OpenAI is OpenAI doesn't keep all that stuff and use it for training. So it's more private than normal. But that's just literally asking ChatGPT the thing. It's Siri going, I give up. Right. You want to ask this. And there will supposedly be other options as well in the future. I think Tim Cook even said that in their recent quarterly financial result meeting and stuff. He said, yeah, we're going to have other ones. So eventually you'll be able to replace those with other things. But that's different than new Siri. New Siri is like, maybe you don't need to do that as often. And it'll have AI-powered web results and all this other kind of stuff.
If the new Siri leans on Gemini, is that a cop-out of sorts by Apple? Or is that like a capitulation basically saying like, we don't know how to do this, so we need help?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Like, it feels like what it means is they weren't able to make a good enough one.
Right.
Or we don't know what leans on Gemini means. It could be they made a good enough one, and the one that runs on your phone locally is all their stuff. And they just, when you use the private cloud compute, when you need a bigger answer from modern news and searching the web and stuff like that, then maybe there's some Gemini provided answers or a custom bespoke version of Gemini involved in that or something. We don't know what leans on Gemini means.
Right.
But it's not 100% made at home Apple stuff. We know that. So is that a failure? I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. But they do, like, they have to deliver something, and they have to deliver something fairly major within the next, I mean, I'll say 12 months, but it's really got to be sooner than that, because Apple Intelligence, it's now over a year that it's been out. It's a year and a half since we've heard of it. And, it's not that good.
The most damning thing about it is ignoring that Siri has gotten so far behind the competition, which is already a big thing. What they shipped with Apple Intelligence really just isn't that great. Like, the image playground stuff is terrible. Like, it just produces horrible results. It's gotten better in a couple of updates, but it's still just
the 26 is better than 18, but I never use it like purposefully.
No. Yeah,
unless I have to like refer to it for a story or something like that. And like the writing tools, like I never use that stuff.
No, the only writing tool stuff that sort of kind of works good is summaries. They had to dial back, like, oops, sometimes a summary misrepresents a news headline. So now they give you options about when you install iOS 26, you get all these options of like, what do you want summaries for? Right. But for the most part, the notification summaries,
those are fine,
do work. Right.
But I feel like they could have done that without calling it Apple Intelligence. Like, that didn't need to be an Apple Intelligence thing. It's just a feature of iOS. You get 5 or 6 notifications and it summarizes them in a couple of sentences, so you don't have to go swipe. You know what they all say.
Yeah. But I
don't think of that as an Apple Intelligence feature, even though it is.
Right. It is. Yeah, that is an AI tool. It's an AI.
Yep.
It's the exact same tool as writing tools is really. It's building all the same thing. And other places that they generate image stuff is the same as Image Playground. Like the
Genmoji stuff.
The photo cleanup tool is basically just like wherever whatever object or something you highlight, it's just basically saying, all right, delete this and do a generative fill. And that's not that good. Like it can sometimes be all right, but like everybody else is way ahead of them on that.
Yeah, I mean, Google's been doing that for like 5 years.
Right. And where they are,
whatever.
They are now, like the quality of what the result is better.
And you can do that on your phone. Like it's in the Google Photos app. Like it's not, that's not anything novel or new.
Yeah. Just like it is on Apple, it's in their Photos app, and it's just not as good. Right. So there's all these problems where what they shipped outside of Siri, which is easily the big dog in this AI thing. It's the thing that they need to care most about. Like Siri didn't get its update. It's not good. It's behind the times. And what they did ship isn't that impressive. Like, I don't know very many people who use the visual intelligence feature. I think it's pretty cool, actually. I actually do get some use out of that, but everyone, like nobody even knows it's there.
Right. That's the biggest thing is that they don't know it exists. Yeah. I was using my son's phone for something over the weekend, and I accidentally hit the power button to bring up Siri, and it was the old one. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And he doesn't even have Apple Intelligence turned on his phone. It's just off.
Oh, yeah.
So like, I don't know anyone who uses it regularly. Like it was with even before Apple Intelligence, like the coolest stuff are all the things that you don't really have to think about. Like the battery
the stuff that's automatic.
Yeah. Like that stuff is great. But Apple Intelligence as a whole and iOS 26 really didn't bring anything new. I mean, maybe a couple of small features, but not really much of anything.
Well, the big update is targeted to be for 26.4, according to all the rumors and stuff. Yeah. Apple won't put a date on it, but which would be the sort of March, April timeframe update. And there's so much riding on this because it's not just they need this to sell iPhones. They can't. Eventually, they're going to need iPhones to have good voice assistant stuff. But there's a whole smart home push going on at Apple. All these products in the pipeline that need this new Siri. Like that's what they're made for. Or not just new Siri, but new AI features. There'll be cameras and stuff that they need to reliably recognize people and their gestures and what they're doing and all this. Like AI needs to get great at Apple real quick because Apple makes money selling products more than anything else. And there's products that just like need this to run.
From what we hear, there's a bunch of stuff that's been lined up and ready to release for like 6 months that they can't release because it's dependent on the new Siri. Apple has been rumored for a while now that there's this it's called like we call it HomePad. Like the rumors call it HomePad, which is basically like a smart home hub that you see like the Echo Show or the Google's Nest Home Hub, where you can pop it on your wall or pop it on a table and control all your smart home stuff, talk to it, get answers, things. And that was supposed to come out like 2024, then 2025, and now 2026, all delayed allegedly because this new series isn't ready yet.
Yeah, now there's talk about like, is it a version that you can mount on a speaker, or are there two versions, a speaker mounted version and like a wall mounted version? Because they always talk about how you can stick it on a wall. Right. This is going to be like have a whole new UI and everything because it's like a more squarish screen and it's not going to have an app store. It's just going to run Apple services and do Apple stuff and do all the Apple smart home stuff. But it's going to FaceTime and all. I can't wait to have one.
Me too.
I'm tired of my old home like Nest hub in my kitchen.
Yeah,
I want to replace it
in a spot, the little circle one in my kitchen. Yeah, I would replace that in a second with the iPad HomePad thing.
Yeah, but in the kitchen, I need a screen, and they don't make a home pod with a screen
for like recipes and stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
And the news app does all that stuff, but then I got to go to an iPad and open the thing and think like give me something that I can talk to and open stuff. Right. So that's allegedly what's coming, but maybe in the spring if this new Siri thing is up to what up to Apple standards.
Yeah. So the latest rumor is, they'll push forward with this new Siri AI update in the spring. That product is ready to roll, but then there's further ones coming later in the year. Like if we could get to that, the next thing is iOS 27, or I should say the OS 27 updates, because Mac OS, it's all the things. It's supposed to have another big boost to Apple Intelligence, whatever that may be. But not just Siri, but we always talked about how there's all these other things, features they call Apple Intelligence. So that, and then there's things lined up like smart cameras and maybe a doorbell.
All kind of tied into that stuff. Yeah.
All tied into that stuff. Yeah. So
when Apple Intelligence was announced in 2024, like we talked about it on the show, and it felt like Apple rushed it. Like they didn't want to release Apple Intelligence then, but they had to, because they were, the whole world was AI, and they had no choice. Yeah. So it really feels like maybe, and you wrote this yesterday, Jason, maybe 2026, which is 2 years removed from the announcement. Like maybe this is really it. All this stuff they've been working on. And believe me, like people say that they're, it sucks. But I'm sure there are alarm bells ringing in Apple every single day that they need to fix this stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe 2026 is like the year that Apple gets it maybe as close to right as possible.
Right. Yeah. And starts actually shipping and it matters to people. Like it's like you could say whatever you could say about Apple Intelligence and iOS 18. Don't think it mattered to people.
Right. It didn't.
Like I think people bought the new iPhone for all the reasons they always buy the new iPhone.
Right. And they
said, gotta have that Apple Intelligence. Right. Like nobody cared. So maybe people will really care. It's everything's lining up, but I worry because we also hear every other week about how some AI talent and some researchers and coders and stuff like that are leaving Apple, and they're getting poached by Meta, who's going to give them like a huge bonus package, and they're going to pay them $10 million, to jump ship. So we'll see.
This is maybe off topic, but what's interesting about those stories, and there have been more than a couple. Mm-hmm. If Apple's AI people are so good that Meta has to have them, why does Apple Intelligence suck so much? Like I always ask myself that question.
Well, that's I think people at Apple are asking that question too. Right. The guy they poached from John, can't remember how to pronounce his last name. Giandria or something. Yep. That they poached from Google to run their AI efforts several years ago. He's very much a research kind of guy.
Right.
I don't think it appears that he doesn't really have that frame of mind about like productizing and shipping a product, right? He was a real hotshot researcher, and that's kind of where Apple's fallen into their problems. And they publish all these interesting papers, and there's all this interesting code on GitHub of all this stuff that Apple's doing in the AI field, but they don't ship. Right. And it's tough. And I guess it's also kind of easier to ship when you're Google, because they'll ship half-baked things and then kill it 6 months later.
Right. And, like their Pixel, they have a whole Pixel line, but they don't sell a tenth of what Apple sells. So
it's not as important.
Yeah, Apple is kind of unique in that regard, in the sense that, Meta, Microsoft, Google, like they don't have the product the product array that Apple has, and the billions of active devices and all that stuff. Like, by all accounts, the iPhone 17 is selling better than any iPhone ever.
Yeah.
And you can get all that stuff on it. You can get Gemini, you can get ChatGPT, so Apple is in a unique position where on one hand, they don't have to rush to deliver this stuff because you can get all the competitors on there. But on the other hand, they absolutely do, because at some point, as Jason just said, at some point it's going to matter.
Yeah, and it matters a lot to all of Apple's investors.
Well, that's you.
Which is another big thing. So they're going to be unhappy. But yeah, it's going to matter. It's clear that that's a key part of the future of these devices and future devices. They're talking about smart glasses and all this other kind of stuff, and it's going to have to be that good at those things. Yeah,
Meta makes a couple of smart-ish glasses. They have a partnership with Ray-Ban, but there's another one like coming soon ish that was prototyped, and it looks like what we're waiting for from Apple.
The full AR glasses that they prototyped. Yeah, those are still a few years off, but that's it's a whole real AR experience in glasses.
And
it's
they're
not
getting
sunglasses they're getting there, right? And we don't know where Apple is. Apple would never show a prototype like that, right? So we don't know where they're at.
But all of this is leading to that.
Yeah.
Next year is a big one, but so is 2027, so is 2028. So
it has to keep going. They have to keep investing in it. That's kind of how they ended up where they're at, is that they didn't continually invest in Siri the way they needed to, and everybody sort of shot past them and they missed the boat. One of the things that you mentioned, like, the way Apple works and how they is this just the time frame they're on? I find it interesting that like Apple almost never ships something first, right? They weren't the first with what became Touch ID. Like they weren't the first with fingerprint sensors or Face ID or OLED or any of the so many things. They night mode, whatever you want to say.
Yep.
They take longer, but then they deliver it in a way that is leaned and pared down to the things people really care about and are easy for people to use and give people the result they expect. And that was, like they weren't the first person with fingerprint sensor. They were the first person to make a fast, reliable one that works every time for people, unless your hands were wet. Like it's, what are you going to do? But that doesn't work in this AI world. Like that could just be the normal time frame they're on. Yeah, they delivered like the really great AI assistant 2 years after everybody else. But it's better for most people. Like it's just right. Maybe that's the time frame they're on. That's just like not what anyone's happy with right now because it's moving so fast. Everyone's so overinvested in it. It's such a part of the cultural zeitgeist. Nobody was waiting with bated breath for a touch sensor, fingerprint ID. That wasn't in the news every day. Where's Apple's fingerprint ID? Right. So the AI stuff is just so important to society now that Apple can't afford to just be like slow but better.
Which is why which lends credence to the theory that they announced it earlier than they wanted to, and earlier than it was ready, and earlier than all this stuff was up to their standards. So 2026, we'll see.
Spring 2026
spring of next year. Okay. Like they absolutely have to deliver something by then.
The side effect of that was that they changed to WWDC this year so that all the announcements for everything in all their operating systems were the things that were shipping initially. There's usually a bunch of features and they say, this is coming in an update. And that's there's little asterisks on the website coming soon in an update. None of that's there. And for me, that's been great because now when updates are coming out, we just got 26.1, 26.2 beta just started today. Like it's a surprise. Like we don't know what features are going to be in it. And that doesn't just mean the AI stuff. I mean, just anything. Like they could be adding features that we don't know about them. And it's like exciting again, not to just be stuff they announced 6 months ago.
26.1, we got the liquid glass toggle. We got swipe to advanced tracks in Apple Music. Little features that
little polished stuff.
But they're new. It's not like they announced it and we were waiting for it, or it was in an early beta and they removed it. So,
but I'm thinking about other big things like there's a whole fitness coach thing that we've heard about multiple times. Like there's an AI fitness coach and maybe a food tracking built-in fitness stuff that could just drop in iOS 26.3.
Yeah,
they just weren't ready. They knew it wouldn't be ready in the fall, so they didn't announce it, and we could just get this big, new, awesome thing, right?
Yeah.
So I'm excited that it's neat to look forward to software updates again.
So next year, 26.4 is the one that we're looking for, that we heard in the rumors, and we'll see. Okay, Roman, what did we agree on? I don't remember. Are you going first or am I going first?
I forgot what we agreed on too.
We've been talking so much that Roman should go.
Yeah, you can go.
Okay, yeah, you guys have been talking for a while.
So we'll do this week in Apple history is first.
So this week in Apple history, on November 1st, 2019, Apple launched the Apple TV streaming service.
TV
Back
Plus
then, right, TV Plus. It had been announced the previous March, but it officially came out on November 1st, 6 years ago, I guess. Yeah, if the math is right in my head.
One of the worst timed streaming services of all time because it was right before the pandemic shut everything down.
Worst time, or was that an opportune time?
Well, it was. I mean, you can look at it both ways, but it also caused all their new productions to be delayed by
Oh, that's true.
So there was a gap where we didn't really get much on Apple TV Plus.
Right. Yeah, they had all these plans, all the second seasons of things, all these new shows that they were working on. The pipeline got so thinned out by COVID production shutdowns that that was rough. It was cheap too. It was $5. Just like every other streaming service, they have continually raised the price because they will boil that frog forever. So,
I don't even remember what was the first catalog that came out. Was Ted Lasso part of that?
No, it wasn't. I just pulled it up. The Morning Show, of course, that was their big marquee with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. Dickinson with Haley Steinfeld.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
C with Jason Momoa.
That was their other big one.
Yep. Yeah. For All Mankind, which I think is still going on.
Yeah, that was great. Right. That's the best one.
Isn't it supposed to be like one more season? Because it's supposed to be a 5-season.
Yes, there's one.
Yeah,
there's a 5-season arc from the beginning. There was a planned 5-season arc. So there's one more season, and there's a spin-off show called Star City that they are supposedly in some level of production on. We don't know when that's going to come.
And the Elephant Queen, which I don't even know what that is. Is that like a nature documentary or something?
I think that was, yes.
That's what's in the lead of their press release for. Let me scroll down.
Yeah. There were a couple of other little things too.
Yeah. Because I remember part of the
it's a documentary film.
Yeah, part of the push of Apple TV Plus was that they were going to have these high quality documentaries.
They still do.
Educational,
Yeah, they still do.
Yeah, they're great.
And Oprah Winfrey's I don't even remember her doing stuff either, but she's mentioned in this as well.
Yeah, she had some. It was going to be Oprah's book club, but on the thing, I don't even know
what even happened.
I don't know. God, I don't know.
Other ones coming: Servant, Truth Be Told, Little America, The Banker, which was delayed for a while. But all those.
Banker's great, by the way. That's a great, quick, easy movie to watch. Yeah. It's very good. Holds up. Those were the things. It was $5 a month.
What is it now? 12, 13? What they raised it to?
I don't. Yeah, 13.
It's $13
they just
a month
raised
now.
It.
Yeah. They just raised it.
I mean, listen, the catalog is a lot better. Not better, but broader, more diverse than it was.
And some stuff is better.
If they charged $12.99 a month for the original, nobody would have bought it. It just wasn't. There wasn't enough stuff there. But now there is. It's legitimately you could only subscribe to Apple TV Plus or TV, and have something to watch for every day. There's a bunch of compelling and interesting shows on that thing.
Yes, some of our favorites.
Yeah,
are Apple TV shows.
Speaking of, that was our segment on what we're watching on Apple TV Plus. So this is Tuesday, November 4th. We're recording this yesterday, which was 26.1. Apple finally rebranded everything. So Apple TV Plus is now Apple TV. And if you go to the app, it's Apple TV. If you go to the website, it's Apple TV. Everything finally changed.
They got rid of the Plus.
Actually, I'm looking right now at the very top. The little top menu thing still says Apple TV Plus. But if you click on it, it says Apple TV. They have a new little intro thing, which is kind of cool. Right. It's colorful. Kind of reminds me of an old Technicolor
NBC
thing.
Peacock.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one.
NBC,
yeah. Or like those old TV logos that used to sort of emphasize the red, green, and blue separation, and come together.
Yeah. Right.
Back from the 70s. It looks like that. Roman, you could probably edit it right into the podcast for the
put it over Jason's face, not mine.
Yeah, just cover my face with it.
And there's like a little jingle design that was composed, I guess, by Phineas, Billie Eilish's brother and collaborator.
Yeah, which okay.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, it just used to be like TV on a black field with TV, and the plus would come in and would go boom. And
it was like it reminded me of the Mac startup sound.
That kind sort of old HBO, like the old HBO static show, kind of reminded me of that. So new logo, I haven't seen it at the start of a show yet, but I haven't watched one today. And like this just happened. This just shipped yesterday.
Right.
Yesterday afternoon.
But I've definitely watched shows.
It's just in time for, on Friday, this show Pluribus, which is Vince Gilligan's first show since Better Call Saul.
Yeah.
On AMC. Was that 6-7 years ago? Which was a Breaking Bad spinoff. So this is his first like original, brand new thing, and
in a while,
in a while, and it has a ton of hype, getting great reviews. It stars Rhea Seaborn, who was also in Better Call Saul, and I don't know. I'm very interested in it. I don't know. You guys, are you guys Breaking Bad fans?
I am. This is like totally not in their in that universe. And I haven't seen any real reviews yet. Like the Rotten Tomatoes page is still blank and all that stuff.
Now there's some. I read a couple this morning, like actual reviews, like people who have seen it and talking
that's
about
good.
it. There's 2 episodes dropping on Friday allegedly.
Right.
And people say it's really good. Like draws you in immediately. Vince Gilligan is also a X-File alum, so it kind of has some of that science fiction stuff baked into it. Also, the character study that Breaking Bad was like. It looks like it's gonna be solid.
Yeah. Rhea Seaborn was such a highlight of Better Call Saul. She's so great.
Yeah, she was excellent.
So the whole show kind of being built around her, I'm in. Like it was really, that looks great. That's coming up. What was the one that just shipped too? Shipped. It's like a product. Like it's a product. It ships. No, what was the other show that Slow Horses is out? I'm working my way through the next season of Slow Horses, which is always so good, and Loot is one of our lunchtime shows. It's like a nice breezy lunchtime show.
Anyone interested in the Family Plan 2?
No, nobody seemed to be interested.
I hated that
Family
movie.
Plan 1. It has
that
like
movie
a 30,
was so bad. We tried to watch it, like it was like a Christmas, like a week before Christmas, and my son's like, I can't watch this anymore. Like it was so bad.
It has like a 30-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah,
and so when they announced there's a second one, I was like, but why? Apple already has such a problem with like hit movies, like not delivering hit movies, and then they deliver what is sure to be a panned movie.
I guess people watch it. They like Mark Wahlberg. I guess it got people to watch it.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's Apple TV is funny. Like they'll be like, I'm looking at this page now. This show. Did you see Echo Valley?
No.
Right. Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney. Like those are 2 like real high profile. I never even heard of it. Like they have so many shows with like Sydney Sweeney's one of the hottest actresses in the world right now. And there's this show, this came out probably 2 months ago and I never even heard of it. So, go through the Apple TV catalog because there's probably
on the other hand, they have
you don't know about.
They've had some genuine breakout. Like obviously, Ted Lasso was their first really big breakout. Yeah. Like people are watching this, and Severance got to be the next big thing. Shrinking deserves to be. That's got a season coming up real soon. That is excellent, and has some big stars in it. But they've just got a ton of stuff that's good now. Like if you were to subscribe now and play catch up on some stuff, you have
like a year and a half worth of good stuff to watch.
Please watch Bad Sisters. Please watch Blackbird. Like, these are so good. Like, some of the best.
I was
stuff
watching. I'm not a huge fan of Gracie Abrams, but Apple Music just released it's Apple TV Plus under Apple Music, like a concert, and their concerts are so good. Like, their camera work's incredible. Their sound quality is amazing. So, like, they're doing tons of cool stuff. I hope they do. Just to bring it back to baseball real quick, last year they did a documentary of the 2024 World Series. And man, I hope they did win this year, because this World Series was wild. It was 7 games. There was all sorts of crazy stuff that happened. There was an 18 inning game. Like, I would love to see a documentary on that. All right, Roman's telling me to talk about baseball too much again. It was like 20
a wrap it up
Roman.
signal. And then there's also the whole Formula One season, I think, is in the US anyway, is going to stream, and that's for a change not going to be a paid add-on like the MLB or the MLS stuff is.
MLB is free. That's part of it. You don't have to.
I thought they had both. I thought they had free games and then there was a paid.
No, that's all part of it. As long as you subscribe, you get those. But MLS is a separate situation.
Yeah.
There's good stuff happening on Apple TV Plus, and it looks like this Pluribus show might be, at least at the beginning. We'll see how it goes. Vince Gilligan is really good at creating tension, making you want to watch the next episode. This could be one of those shows that, like Stranger Things, or like really puts Apple TV Plus back on the map. But I'm interested. We'll talk about it one of these weeks. We'll talk about the first few episodes.
Let's get at least a few episodes in.
Yeah, a couple weeks
before we start our mystery. We're going to turn into one of those like Lost podcasts. I mean, the show Lost. Remember, like, people would every week talk about like what the latest mystery is and what it means, and all that kind of. Maybe Pluribus is one of those shows that gets people.
We'll
talking
have a segment
that way.
This week on Pluribus, if it's good enough. All right, reader mailbag, Roman. Let's wrap this thing up.
So in the reader mailbag, we got a couple comments about a podcast we did recently. This was last week's podcast. And during one of the segments, we talked about the cheap MacBook that Apple is working on. And we had a couple comments. James Roach commented on YouTube and said, I like to think this iPhone chip-based MacBook would be called the MacBook SE.
I like that.
A good idea.
Yeah. They've never had a MacBook SE.
Right. Yeah. And they got away from SE on the iPhone.
Right.
So maybe, and they can't just call it MacBook E. They don't number MacBooks, right? So I don't know I like the idea of it, except that I don't think they would do that because they're not.
Well, the Apple Watch is SE still. They didn't get rid of that.
That's true.
They could have called it the Apple Watch 11E. That would have made perfect sense.
Just you wait. Next year, man. Yeah. That's what's going to happen.
Leeds Boy 38 on YouTube said, surely the MacBook with an iPhone chip is a back-to-school favorite. Releasing it in the spring feels like the wrong time of year, doesn't it?
Yep.
Which coincidentally ties into a report that just came out as we're recording this. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman says that Apple is planning to release this low-cost MacBook early next year. He didn't say whether it was in the spring, but Apple tends to do its releases in the spring, which I guess is still considered early next year. So
I'm going to go out on a limb here and say this is going to be one of those sort of January, February things.
You think so?
Yeah. Like we have that every now and then where they just they crank out like a kind of a one-off product
in January,
like January or February. I don't, and the timing never makes sense. It's never like, oh, they need this for winter sports or something. Like it's not like tied into anything.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't surprise me if that happened. I agree with that one reader that like this would be a slam dunk back to school, but Apple seems to have no problem launching a product and then promoting it 4 or 5 months later as a back to school thing. And that just seems to do fine for them. So
I'm fascinated with the whole idea of this laptop.
Oh, me too.
So right now you can get an M4 MacBook Air for like $800 on Amazon. Like, how much cheaper is this going to be? Because $999, even if you pay full price, like that's a very affordable laptop, and it's, the M4 chip is powerful and blah blah. Amazon has it on sale all the time for $799, like constantly. So you can get
an older one.
Yeah, and if you want the M2 from Best Buy, they sell it for like $650, and Walmart sells the M1 for like $599 or something.
Yeah, that's going to go
there
away.
Are cheap, there are cheap MacBooks out there. I'm very interested to see, is it going to be starting price of $699? Because that's fantastic. Because then Amazon sells it for $599 or even $450.
Yeah, I think that's exactly the play here. I think that's it. If it's more than that, this thing is kind of so sunk. The pricing is going to be so critical in this. But if it's $699 or less, and then that's Apple's full price, and then you see it on sale every now and then for $50 or $100 cheaper. Because if you look at laptops sold throughout the world and what they cost and everything, the $500 to $600 price range is such a massive volume of laptops. There are so many, especially when you start looking past what corporations spend to buy fleets of laptops. When you just look at what consumers buy, there's it's kind of two ends. It's like, I want a powerful gaming thing that's expensive, or I need to check my email, and how can I spend the least and have a decent email checker? And Apple does not play in that pool at all.
Well, unless you count like the iPad or the iPad Air or something. But
right. Which I think Apple would, but those are not laptops.
You're right.
And I think people don't think of them as laptops.
Yep, you're right.
And when they want a laptop, they don't have that. So it is such a massive cultural shift kind of for Apple to once again kind of be looking at that. Because old Apple laptops were like, they were expensive. We just talked the other week about how expensive the original Apple laptops were. And especially in today's dollars, but they were extremely price competitive compared to other laptops at the time, right? And they just have not had an affordable laptop in.
Well, again, the MacBook Air, the M4 MacBook Air for $999 is, I wouldn't call it affordable, but it's good value in the sense that if you're with spending that much money, you're getting a lot of computer for a decent price.
Absolutely true. But there's just a gigantic chunk of the market that just will not pay $1,000 for.
Imagine this thing comes in at like $499. Like, oh man, like they got to sell a zillion of them.
Yeah, they will not be able to make them fast enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Gurman's story, he talks a little bit about how the main competition is Chromebooks. Right. Now, I don't know, when Gurman talks about stuff like that, we're not sure if that's Apple telling him this stuff, or if he's creating an angle about it based on whatever information he has. Mm-hmm. But that seems to imply that this Chromebook market is framing Apple's pricing for this.
That makes sense to me.
MacBook. Right. Yeah.
I think that's probably discounting the $200 ones, because the Apple's not going to play in that end of the pool. Right. But I think that there's a lot of $399 to $599 Chromebooks that people would be just as happy to buy a MacBook.
If the MacBook was and Apple will charge $100, $150 more, but I think that Apple can make a value case at least for that versus a Chromebook. Like if it's $100, $150 more, if it's $300 or $400 more, if it's an $800 or $900 laptop, no, forget it. Nobody buying a Chromebook cares.
Right.
But you could convince somebody buying a Chromebook for, $499 to spend $599 to get all the things a MacBook does, I think Apple could at least do that. So, yeah, I'm very
interesting. So there's a line in here that says the upcoming model will be an entirely new design rather than a discounted older machine. So that's also compelling. Yeah, as if you're getting something different and new for $600 or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that does it for this week's Macworld podcast Mailbag.
Good. Emails, podcast@macworld.com. Send us your comments because we like to talk about that stuff. All right. That does it for this episode of the Macworld Podcast, episode number 958. Thanks to Jason Cross.
Thank you.
Thanks to Roman Loyola.
Thank you, sir.
And thanks to you, the audience, for listening. You can subscribe in the Mac. Damn it. Roman.
Yes.
Hold on. Because I was thinking of the stupid email in my head and then I screwed it up. And this is not even that part. This is about subscribing. It's not even. You can subscribe to the Macworld. You can subscribe to the Macworld Podcast in the podcast app on Spotify, YouTube, at the Macworld Podcast channel, or through any other podcast app. Questions or comments, contact us through Blue Sky, Facebook, Threads. Search for Macworld, look for the Blue Mouse logo, or send an email to podcast@macworld.com. Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast, and we talk about.
So close.
Join us in the next episode of the Macworld Podcast as we talk about the latest in the world of Apple. See you next time.